One of the most known facts about the K-pop industry is that companies force their idols to go through rigorous training and follow strict rules. These rules mostly have to do with maintaining the pure image idols are known for, but what were the rules that Aespa were made to follow in order to debut? And is SM really that strict with them? Let me walk you through it. No communication. I can't imagine my life without my phone, and you probably can't either, but Aespa actually had to deal with it every day. A true nightmare. According to SM's policy, when Aespa were trainees, they were not allowed to use their phones as it's seen as a distraction for their training. They could only use it during the night and Sundays, but even then there were rules. Whenever they are allowed their phones though, they're supposed to keep them on at all times and drop everything as soon as a manager contacts them. The management not only controls how long they can use their phones, but also when they use it, where they use it, and what they do, say, and post, and when they're allowed to use it. This is mostly done to see if idols are dating anyone, or if their texts contain anything negative about the company, or things related to the company. And as you can imagine, this can be pretty frustrating. But in order to not make an uproar and always be at peace with K-pop fans, the girls can't post freely what they want. No nightlife. This probably comes as no surprise, but Aespa weren't spending their Friday nights clubbing, or any nights whatsoever. They were allowed to train until late, of course, and most of the trainees did it to impress the instructors. They would stay up until late, no trouble whatsoever, but the curfew would become a problem once the trainees were out of the building. While their days were spent under the watchful eye of instructors, at night, the trainees are left to look after themselves. As soon as the trainees are out of the SM building, the strict curfew takes place and the trainees should make sure to get back to the dorms before said curfew. If they fail to make it inside before the curfew, then they're locked outside of the building. Then it's between them and, well, the bench in the park. Or maybe angry Isuman? Well, you'll be surprised, because in just a minute, I'll tell you that SM chose a bit different strategy with Aespa and their rules. Don't get caught. SM Entertainment manages to surprise me every time, and this time it's for something good. It turns out that they're pretty easygoing when it comes to dating bans. I know, I didn't expect that from them either, but it's true. While other entertainment companies have pretty strict rules about who their idols date, how they're going to hide it, or whether they should date anyone in the first place, it isn't the same case for SM. Sure, it's obviously implied that dating isn't favored, and that's the reason trainees usually play it safe by staying single for the first few years of their career, but it's strictly not discouraged either. As long as the Aespa members, or any SM idols for that matter, don't end up getting caught and avoid having pictures from their secret dates end up on Dispatch's homepage, nobody is going to have a problem with it. But if the members eventually choose to date someone though, Lee Soo-man has stated that he would prefer his idols date someone within the company so the situation can be more easily manageable if the news ever gets out. This rule kind of limits Aespa's choices and partners to only idols and employees with SM, but with so many good-looking men in that company, I doubt that they mind the rule in the slightest. Strict diets. Based on all the previous entries in this video, it's obvious that SM follows the "we're not technically making you follow this rule, but it's better if you do anyways" route when it comes to their artists and trainees. While there are strict diet regimes in place for all trainees and idols, nobody is actually forced to follow them against their will. Debuting is a cutthroat competition though, and if trainees really want to perform on stage or even stand out amongst their peers, they'll diet to increase their chances of debuting. And while they don't force any diets on anyone, SM Entertainment sends controlled food portions to all trainees every day. These meals exclude desserts, and if the Aespa members ever wanted to rebel a bit and break their diets, SM is certainly not going to pay for it. They actually have to pay for their junk food themselves in case they're not following their diets. There were also no nutritionists and dietitians to provide the trainees with advice on how to be safe when dieting. It's literally the bare minimum, and they can't even do that. Unbelievable. But their dieting seems less strict than other companies, so kudos to them for it, I guess. Constant practicing. One wouldn't even dare think of becoming an idol without the rigorous training system that the K-pop industry, and especially SM Entertainment, is known for. The Aespa members were expected to constantly practice, and I mean constantly. Them and the rest of the trainees trained for as long as 12 hours. Some dedicated trainees went on for even longer because the grind never stops, I guess. The only time they got to have breaks is when they went to Korean language lessons, which hardly counts as a break, and on Sundays. Sundays must have been truly blessed days for SM trainees. Learn from your mistakes. SM has a rather unique way of urging the trainees to not make the same mistakes. First of all, everyone is extremely punctual when it comes to practice, like to the point it's worrying. If you're late or go against the rules, you have to sing while running around the practice room 10 times. The members had to train by singing while doing sit-ups and while someone was hitting their stomach in order together to help them develop muscle and vocal power. This sounds more like boot camp than an entertainment company. If they happened to make a mistake, they had to write down what they did wrong and weren't allowed to practice until they acknowledged what they did wrong. They also did this after an hour of meditation when they're expected to write what mistakes they made that week. This is a rule I understand to some levels, but I can never trust these companies not to go too far with it. And also, in my opinion, physical punishments are a total no-no. Take a bow. Etiquette is also very important to SM Entertainment. This was part of the personality training the girls went through. They were taught how to sit or hold their hands while standing and erase any bad habits they might have had. They also had to always greet their seniors with a loud voice and always had to bow. Greeting and bowing well is seen as a sign of respect and someone with a good personality, so it's no surprise that this was a part of the training. They also learned how to amplify their personas for the screen. For example, if one of the members gave the impression that she was fun and bubbly, that would become her entire personality trait whenever she was in front of the cameras. She would always be told to smile and never seem angry. They can maintain their own social media accounts, accept other jobs such as starring in television commercials, music videos, or modeling for brands, of course after consulting with their agency. This is the most important part of their training according to the trainees. The tattoo taboo. On Korean TV shows, you don't see a lot of idols reveal their tattoos publicly. They're either covered with foundation or bandages, but the point is, the tattoos can't be seen by the public. But although tattoos are still a bit of a sensitive topic in Korea, they're becoming more and more common, especially among idols. SM Entertainment has started being more public with allowing them too. In the past, they were stricter with this. Again, nothing was exactly forbidden, but you had a bit of an advantage over the other trainees if you didn't have them. And if you were to get them, they would be covered up for years until they were allowed to display them. Things seem to have changed as Ning Ning proudly showed her cute minimalistic tattoos on SNS. It hasn't even been 2 years since she debuted. Good for her. I hope she gets even more of them. They suit her so well. Don't be last. Ending the video with the cutest rules that the girls set up for themselves. The Aespa members have been praised time and time again by netizens about how close they all are to each other, despite being a rookie group. But their cute relationship was built on some rules that they established themselves in order to get to know each other and avoid any conflicts in the dorm. Aespa's dorm rules were spread on various online websites, and it included a photo of a chalkboard with 5 rules for the Gwanya dorm. The rules of the dorm include: Number 1, everyone must eat together. Number 2, everyone must share their things and food. Number 3, they should also share closets, and it's perfectly okay if their clothes end up getting mixed in the laundry. Number 4, every Saturday is party, which honestly makes the most sense as a rule. Number 5, the dorm is a place of friendship without regulation. And of course, one additional and the most important rule: you will be kicked out when breaking the rules. Now tell me, how can you hate these girls when their relationship is literally the cutest? And by the way, I want to see how those Saturday parties look. I have a strong feeling that it's really something. But the girls ended up adding another rule to the list, and that's all because of winter. They did an interview with Harper's Bazaar Korea where they revealed what it is and why they added it. In the past, when they had to go somewhere together, they would always try to leave at the same time. But now, whoever ends up getting ready first leaves first. They ended up doing this because they would always be late to schedules because of winter, since she was really exhausted in the morning. It's every man for themselves in Aespa when it comes to their work. Hope you enjoyed the video and have a great day. Bye!